What is going on, my fellow knowledge seekers? Sorry it's been so long since I came to you. If you're a follower of mine, you can tell I'm in a new spot. Still trying to get the kink situated of what to do or where to do it. And speaking of what to do, I've talked about sports. I've hinted them and talked more about spirituality. Sports Buddha. We do a lot of Buddhist chanting. Our Gohonzon, where we chant, is directly behind the altar. Sorry, it's sacred and I can't show you. But now I'm going to be talking about sales content as well. I've bounced around in sales the past couple of years. I worked for Dunder Mifflin. You've heard of it from The Office. I worked for a paper company, and I worked for a facilities maintenance company. Sorry, I just fell asleep while I said that. And if you know me personally, you probably know I worked in restaurants for 10 years, and now I'm working for a restaurant tech company. So that's super on brand. You get to wear casual clothes, not quite shorts like I would love, but it's, again, right on brand with what I would love to do. And I'm excited to do it. When my team meetings have been, it's just my second day. When my team meetings have been ending, I've actually been bummed that they're ending as opposed to like, oh my God, get me out of here. So just going to do a quick talk about the state of restaurant tech. So when you think of restaurants, you got the front of the house and the back of the house. When you got the back of the house, you got those rugged chefs. Of course, they're not super tech savvy. And when you think of a restaurant manager or owner, what do you think of? That's right. You thought of someone in their mid 40s, potentially to their 60s, an OG, knows restaurant field back like the back of their hand, doesn't need your advice or your tech telling them how to run a restaurant. So that's true. They may know how to run the restaurant. But guess what? Guess who their clientele are? Their clientele are people coming in with their smartphones, looking up the restaurant on a smartphone. That's where my company, Popmenu, comes in. And this is not me just pitching my company, Popmenu, over and over again. This is me mastering my craft, talking about something I'm passionate about, sales, restaurants, so that when I actually get face-to-face meetings with someone, I'll be a little better at it. And if you're in sales too, you can learn a thing or two. Anyways, so we have a tech stack that we are selling to non-tech savvy people. So the way to push tech onto non-tech savvy people is value. So the way our company was created was with the idea of the menu. If you want to look up what menu or what restaurant you want to go to, say you want Italian, you type in best lasagna near me. You're going to see a restaurant. It's Tony's Lasagna, and you click on it, and it's got a menu. It's probably a PDF with a bunch of words that say lasagna for $27. California, that's pretty normally priced. But if you're in Wisconsin, you're like, why the hell am I paying $27 for lasagna? But if you see a photo of Tony's famous lasagna, just like you would on Instagram, you're like, oh, that's dope. So that's basically where the concept for our company started, making menus more interactive, more like Instagram, having photos, having likes. So if you see 40 people like the lasagna and only 12 like the steak, you get the lasagna over the steak. And again, how do you get people to buy into your concept? You have to put Tony, who's an OG and doesn't need your advice, you have to get him to think as a buyer. And while Tony may not give a rat's patootie about tech, the buyer does. So it's all about not just getting into the mindset of the person who's buying your product, but who they're selling to. Because sales just aren't as simple as they used to be. It's not as simple as pick up the phone, talk to Tony, because now Tony's not the one answering the phone. And if he uses Popmenu, it's going to be a robot answering the phone, which is one of my favorite debates. And this is the main thing I want to talk about in this video, is the value of AI going forward in restaurants. Because I know AI is a very sore subject, especially people like, oh yeah, I want that working class to be able to be in a restaurant. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to go to a baseball game. I want to see a real live umpire. And after that game, I want to drive through a bridge where someone taking the bridge toll. I want to go to a restaurant and there's someone at that restaurant taking my order. Well, I feel you on the bridge toll. I like the bridge interaction. But I was a pitcher. I don't want someone messing up that call for me. I'm okay with robot umps, and you have one ump there who can, overrule if robots get taken over by tech. Again, I can go either way on the bridge toll. Probably a pretty boring job, but it's fun handing the money over. And it's like you see a person, makes you drive safer, probably seeing other humans who are like sitting there. But in all seriousness, having to tip a cashier who you say, I want a burger medium rare, and he writes it down into the system, as opposed to a server who's running around doing stuff for you. I tip my servers super well. If a cashier is nice, I'll tip them well. But what sucks is having to tip a cashier 20%. So I'm all about AI and tech in restaurants, and especially for the phones. The phones is the most interesting one, because when you call a restaurant, you do want to talk to Tony. That being said, if I call the restaurant and Tony answers the phone, and then my friend walks into the restaurant, he's now not talking to Tony because I'm taking up Tony's time saying, hey, what time are you guys open till tonight? So there is really a lot of value in AI phone answering services. And I know it can take OGs like Tony a long time to get around on that. But again, there's pros and cons to all new tech, but there's a reason that every year more and more tech is introduced. And the most interesting thing I've learned since starting my time at Popmenu is that people are actually, like the stat said, 87% of people are open to bringing more tech into their restaurant in the next year, but that's actually down from 90% last year. And the people who are a heck yes absolutely has dropped a lot, and the probablys have increased. So it's even less than that 3%, it seems. So people are more hesitant to use tech, and that's probably because they tried saving money and getting a cheaper tech and got burned by it. And that's the same with anything. It's quality over quantity. You got to make sure that you're selling good lasagna, because if you say, hey, we got the best lasagna, it's Costco lasagna, people aren't coming back. So you just got to make smart decisions. Don't just follow your heart, but also think about what the customer wants. And that's where it gets tricky. So, maybe next time I'll get more into a specific tech, or maybe into how to sell the restaurants. But that's just kind of where my journey's going. I don't make money talking about sports, so I wanted to find a way to interact with you guys more often. And I figured that if I can take my day-to-day job of selling and start talking to you guys about my process so I can grow as a seller and help you guys grow along the way, that'd be a great way for me to keep showing up, because I keep having spurts where I make videos for a while and then I drop off. So, drop me a like, comment, share with a friend, give me some love so I can keep coming back, sharing love with you guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you guys like the rebrand as the Sports and Sales Buddha. And I'll drop some Buddhist chanting for you guys soon. Thanks again.